Anthony, when I could see you shaking your head furiously at what Donald Trump was saying. Why were you doing that?
Well, I was shaking my head at you as well. I mean, look, the question is, you know, in back-to-back questions, at once it was, how come we're not getting more support from the rest of the countries, meaning the Arab states? And then it was like, how come we don't feel confident enough that we're letting England and France take the lead? The fact is, part of being in a coalition like NATO, part of being a country like the United States, is that you've got to put together coalitions so that you're not doing all the heavy lifting. And it's sheer folly to believe that the international oil supply is not a fungible thing. That's why I was shaking my head at what Mr. Trump was saying. The fact is, if you think that it doesn't impact U.S. economy, it does, but that's not why the president said we were going in. He said because we're a country that doesn't sit by and let people be slaughtered, and I'm glad we're not. Does that mean that we have to go completely in? You know, listening to some of the president's critics, it reminds me of the old joke, you know, the food here is terrible and the portions are small. They seem to be conflicted between criticizing him for not doing enough and criticizing him for doing too much, which means to me he's probably doing the right thing.
Donald Trump, you apparently don't know what you're talking about.
Look, Libya has 2 to 3% of the world's oil. OPEC is sitting back and laughing at us because they sit down and they just set the price of oil. There is so much oil at sea. Ships are floating at sea. They don't know what to do with it. Oil is artificially set, not by Libya, but by the people sitting around, the 12 men sitting around the table, saying the stupid American leadership is not doing anything to us. We will drain them, and we will drain them now. So don't tell me about Libya. The fact is that OPEC is setting phony prices for oil, and we do nothing about it. Our leadership does nothing about it, and they could, because if it wasn't for us, OPEC wouldn't exist.
Most of the polls suggest that Americans, the average American, would actually probably prefer that America doesn't now spend billions and billions more dollars on this kind of mission and actually got the economy in America back on track. As a businessman, what do you think?
Well, I think that's right, but I also say that NATO is us. If you look at NATO, without us, there is no such thing as NATO. We're the power, we're the money behind NATO, and NATO is not a fairly distributed place or thing. We are NATO. So when NATO goes in, that's us going in. And I get back to the original premise. The Arab League wants us to fight their battles. Why aren't they paying us for it?
If the Arab League is your criteria for why America should get involved.
First, that's not my criteria. I'm not president yet, although I think I have as much chance as Donald Trump does. But I can tell you this.
He's polling better than you.
I can tell you this. Well, you put me in one of your polls. And by the way, to say how the American people feel before the speech, if the American people don't support this after this speech, I will be very surprised. In fact, I'm sure they're going to in large numbers because the president did something he should have done a while ago, which is make this case.
Let me bring you in there.
If I polled like Anthony's polling, I would drop out immediately.
Don't worry, you'll be dropping out soon enough, Donald. We both know it.
Donald, will you be dropping out soon enough? Donald, will you be dropping out as Anthony Weiner?
No, I just saw polls today that show me doing very well. And, you know, when Anthony makes a statement like that, it's too bad for him. But
if you want to announce your standing right now.
I look at his polls in New York running for mayor. He does very poorly. So I just wish him a lot of luck.
I'm the front runner, big guy. I'm not sure you're even going to be around at the end.
A lot of people are leaving the city if you end up winning.
Well, gentlemen, tragically, I have to leave it there just when things were hotting up nicely. Governor Richardson, Anthony Weiner, Donald Trump, thank you all very much.